started finally watching season 2 of The Umbrella Academy,
Right.
and so far the only complaint I have is I will finish this so quickly. I was just gonna sit down. So my wife went away for the weekend,
Right.
and my wife, and so I was like, well, I have homework to do, and which I still do. I still have some work I have to do. So I was like, I'm gonna spend Saturday night doing that. And so when I got off work, I went and got some dinner. I was like, I'm gonna watch an episode of Umbrella Academy, and I was like, that'll help me, whatever. And so I'm watching it, and then the way it ends, I was like, okay, I have to watch the second episode. And then,
Right.
like, I didn't even make a conscious choice. Like, it immediately went to the third because the way that they made this season, it's a long ass movie. I mean, I
Yeah.
literally can't. It does not feel like it is like separate episodes in a show. Like, it's so
Yeah.
continuous, and that's dangerous because I don't want to finish that fast, but I know I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm already like 4 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. We binge watched it one weekend, which from a story perspective, like you said, it's very movie like. So it's like we just watched a whole movie or whatever.
Yeah.
But from a watching perspective, it's like, well, now what do we watch?
Yeah. Well, we're still we've kind of got it planned out that after this or no, sorry, she's not watching it. I am. So I'm pretty much going to finish this Wednesday. We're watching that show In the Dark I was telling you about, and then I think
Isn't that where she's blind?
Yeah. It's pretty good. Honestly, season 2, you could tell they had a lot more funding because it is so much more it's so much more artistic and like kind of cool. And then after that we'll go to How to Get Away. But yeah, Umbrella Academy, man, holy shit. Like, it's just the first episode honestly took me a minute to get into. And I think it's just because I forgot that's how I was with the first season, and it wasn't until the entire show completed I was like, that was a masterpiece from start to finish. So I think that was the same thing. But like after the second episode, I was like, and that's what led me into the third, and it's just I'm like, I can't believe the story they're telling right now and how well they're telling it and how pertinent it is. Like especially all the stuff with Allison and her husband. Like that's how well that is being put, and like it's really it's a great balance because you're expecting kind of the kookiness, craziness of the episode prior, which is whenever Diego and Five go on the hunt.
Right.
Trying really not to say much spoiler stuff because I feel like
That's for next week.
that's for next week, exactly. Where it's like that whole kind of scene was kooky and crazy, and so you're expecting it to kind of stay like that, but then they handle something very serious very well.
Yeah.
And
It's also just like a commentary like on, I mean, like you said, like the world today. But it's kind of a bad commentary because I don't know if she says it yet, so minor spoiler for you, but there's one point where she basically says that, yeah, we're still fighting that fight. So it's like so true. I mean, granted, we don't have restaurants where like whites only or whatever, but it's like it is amazing that like there's been steps in the right direction.
yeah.
But it's amazing how people still have to be fighting for equal rights and stuff like that. So it's a weird commentary even on like today's society.
Well, see, what's interesting for me too is where this is taking place is 2 hours from me.
Oh yeah. Really?
Dallas from Tyler is about 2 hours away, give or take, interstate. So it takes it's a little bit faster, but yeah. So it's real interesting for me because it's like I know these people. Like I know in the '60s, Dallas. Now I do think it's played up a little bit as far as like Dallas goes, because Dallas is well. I'm not going to say that because I wasn't there back then. I'm not going to say that. But when it comes to regions in Texas, there's certain stereotypes like of how cities are, and Dallas. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that conversation. So, but it's interesting for me because it's like I've been there. I've been in that kind of area location. So it's like I'm familiar with the people there, and it's like the whole scene when they're at the diner and like what happens and how that transpires, not only is that like a shocking retelling of stuff we have just recently seen with a lot of the BLM protests and everything that happened with George Floyd, like just to see how that plays out is like, dude, like it reminds me a lot of Yellowstone, which I've told you to watch before. But
I could get a free trial to Peacock and watch it there.
Oh, really? You can? Oh,
well, that's why I was thinking of doing that.
Yeah, well, with Yellowstone, they're doing something very similar, but more of a comment on Native Americans and like the kind of battle between them and us, basically. And that's handled very well, and it tells a very good story that it's one of those there's no heroes and there's no villains kind of thing. This one, we can clearly see who the villains are. I mean, it's clear as day. But how they're able to do something crazy like this in a show and tackle serious things like that within the third episode of a 10 episode season. I have so many questions, though. I really do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, here's the what do you think about like the seasons that are like 10 episodes long? I feel like
I'll keep them, please.
Yeah, I feel like this goes all the way back to like Walking Dead is a perfect example. When Walking Dead first started off, of course, people weren't sure if a zombie show would do good. So what happened? They only had 6 episodes for season 1. Then the next one, they literally doubled at 13 episodes. And that's when you ran into the whole like, Sophia! Like half the season was trying to find a lost girl. And so they doubled their episodes, most likely, obviously, doubled their budget or whatever, which is a good thing. But what did it amount to? You know what I mean? And it amounted to just a lot of filler episodes. And then like that was kind of just how the rest of the seasons went, just one after another, where it's like we would have like this bombastic first part of the season, and then the latter part of the season was just kind of like, yeah, okay, cool, we got some good episodes in there, you know? And like it just kept going that way. Like they never perfected that pacing that those 6 episodes gave us. Those 6 tiny episodes were like little movies all by themselves. When they stretched it out and doubled the amount of episodes that we got, sure, we got more quote unquote content, but we really didn't get that much out of it. So yeah, kind of, I've talked so many times about like my thoughts on Walking Dead. It's just like tiring at this point, but you know, but yeah.
Getting back into it, we were talking about the Umbrella Academy 10 episode season structure. Walking Dead, from what you were talking about, was a perfect example. I 100% will always want a 10 episode season, no matter what. That is what's kept me from really binging and catching up on the CW verse shows, because I am like
20 each episode or 20 each season.
22 right? So it's the supernatural structure. It's 22 episodes a season, 40 minutes apiece, or 42 minutes apiece. So I am like 3 episodes behind on, or sorry, not 3 episodes, 2 or 3 seasons behind on Arrow. I think I know for sure too. Supergirl, I only saw the first season. Flash, I think I'm 2 seasons behind. Legends of Tomorrow. I mean, it's so much that I can't deal with it. If they were 10 episodes though, I could fucking knock that out like nobody's business.
Right. And I mean, not only that, but think about budget wise. Like some of the special effects that they have on those shows are actually pretty good. You know, I would never call them
Supergirl is the worst.
I definitely wouldn't call them like movie worthy, you know, special effects or anything. But given that they're on CW, they're real, just, you know, they're just TV shows. Like they have some really good moments in them sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so now imagine that, but you times that budget by 2 because you put in half the amount of episodes. Even if they went from 22 to 12, that's still 10 less episodes, meaning 10 less episodes of manpower, 10 less episodes of special effects, because there's always special effects. Very, very rarely do they have like a episode without,
Yeah.
high special effects, and everything. So, I mean, I just think it does really good. Like, I will admit, like, the first time I really didn't like it was Stranger Things. Season 1 only had 8 episodes. It's like, God dang it. But at the same time, they had a story. They
And
had
they
it
told that
planned
story.
out from the beginning to the end, and they told that story,
Mm-hmm.
And so, to me, that seems like so much better than just kind of stretching it out. You know what I mean?
I agree. Now, of course, the downside is yeah, they are going to be over a lot quicker. I actually think that The Boys might be a perfect
Stop,
structure.
boys.
The Boys, because wasn't that like was that 10? Oh, that was 8 episodes, I think.
Was it?
Let me look. Let me go to good old IMDb. Okay, yeah, there's 8 episodes. So I honestly I think it depends on the structure. So obviously the Boys doesn't feel rushed or anything like that because they were telling the story in 8 episodes and it works.
Right.
And I think they do the same with Umbrella Academy. So yeah, I say going forward, I would like, and I'm hoping that if they're going to continue with these CW shows, they're going to take a look at to see what DC proper is doing with their programming, their shows, and be like, okay, let's be more like that. Because